Hello all, welcome to the annual trial garden. My name is Rachel Wood, and today I will be here telling you about some of the most popular plants that we have here in the gardens and that most of you probably have at home. I'm going to start off by talking about petunias. Petunias are one of the most popular bedding plants sold here in the United States and are loved by many. One of the main reasons that petunias are so popular is that they are one of the few plants that breeders have been able to produce in such a wide variety of colors and patterns. You can have everything from red, purple, pink, blue, black, white, orange, speckled, ombre, two-toned, and even more. As you can probably tell, there is such a huge variety. Petunias also bloom all summer long, from spring until the first frost, making the gardens pop with color nonstop throughout the flower season. Petunias can be grown either by seed or cuttings. Here at the gardens, we propagate petunias using both seeds and cuttings. We use either one, depending on what the company entering the petunia into the trial sends us to use. One of the most important resources for growing the perfect petunia is plenty of sunlight. They thrive in direct sun throughout most of the day, with at least 5 to 6 hours of direct sunlight needed per day. The more shade, the less flowers, and since the most eye-catching thing for petunias is their flowers, it's important to provide them with the sunlight to keep them looking pretty. They also require fertilizer at least 3 times throughout the season to keep them from becoming chlorotic. Petunias could also benefit from deadheading so that you don't get them reseeding themselves next year, but it's really not necessary. Here in the gardens, we do not deadhead them at all, and they still look fantastic. Next, I'm going to be talking about geraniums. Geraniums are another popular bedding plant. This year in the gardens, we only have a few varieties, but they still remain very popular overall. One of the main reasons for this is that they are quite easy to care for. They can tolerate both drought and cold and come back quite quickly. For example, in the gardens this year, our bed of red geraniums in front of Liberty Hyde Bailey was the first bed planted and stayed alive through some cold spells, some drought conditions, and all of the insane rain that we have had lately. They are one tough plant. Geraniums also can be kept from year to year if they are brought indoors for the winter. You do not have to keep them alive and water them the entire time either. You can let the growth die off and store them in your basement, and they will regrow once you put them outside in the spring. How cool! There are also several different types of geraniums, such as Martha Washington, ivy, and zonal geraniums. They range in color from white, pink, red, orange, purple, and bicolor. There are scented geraniums as well. Geraniums are produced either by seeds or by vegetative cuttings. Here in the gardens, we grow them either way, depending on what is sent to us by the company that donates the plant material. The one bad thing about geraniums is that they do require deadheading to keep them looking good. Here in the gardens, it is almost a weekly task. While they do require full sun, unlike petunias, they do not require a lot of fertilizer, and if they get too many nutrients, they may not produce a lot of flowers. The next plant that I'm going to talk about are begonias. Begonias are both a popular bedding plant as well as an indoor houseplant that many people take a special interest in. As you can see in the video, there are a wide variety of begonias to choose from. So many that the different varieties barely even look like they are related. Some begonias are mainly grown for their flowers, while others are mainly grown for their attractive foliage. Most begonias are propagated by seed. However, begonia seeds are quite hard to get to germinate, so here at the gardens, we send our seed off to a company who will start the seeds for us and send us a finished plug tray. Begonias do best in partial shade with enough sun so that they can flower if they are the flowering type. Some begonias do well in full sun, while others would get severe sunburn damage if they receive too much direct sunlight, so it is important to know which type of begonia that you are planting and what its specific needs are. Begonias do not need super heavy fertilization, so they should only be fertilized a couple times per year. Lately, begonias have been making their way into the houseplant industry. When growing begonias indoors, make sure to place them in indirect light, let them dry out a little bit between waterings, and only fertilize them when they are actively growing. A little fun fact about begonias is that they are edible. Only certain parts of the plant can be eaten, so don't go around trying it for yourself. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time when you visit the gardens.